I'm Joshua Simon.
I'm Sam Joe.
And we are the SG Boys.
That little gay podcast from Singapore.
Subscribe and find us on Instagram at the SG Boys. I feel like Janet Jackson in the Rhythm Nation.
His shoulders.
Give me a beat.
I love it.
She
Okay.
said, give me a beat. Is it? Oh no, that's Miss You Much.
That is,
That's Miss You Much.
that's like nasty.
Oh, is it nasty?
Yeah. Give me a beat.
We have no idea.
You guys are so
What?
plugged into pop culture.
We
Like, it's
don't.
insane. All
We
your
don't listen to
references.
any Janet Jackson at
What?
all.
Oh my
no,
goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, Janet Jackson is out of our radar for some reason.
But
Okay.
like that isn't
I'm
that
like Mariah and he's Kylie.
I'm Kylie.
So we
and Britney.
don't.
I used to have wet dreams about Kylie.
Oh,
Really?
In a very odd way, like when her Light Years album came out, right? And she was there.
you
lying
wanted
in
to
that
be her,
cage,
not
like-
sleep with her.
No. Actually, yes. In a very weird way, because she was looking so gorgeous in that purple swimwear that's just lying down. It was a fever, like Light Years. And I just thought that was the most gorgeous image I've seen. And I think
That's when you knew you were gay.
I knew I was gay way before that. But
Aphrodite. She kind of like awoke something.
I love the effort.
It's like her slow music video.
Yes.
I thought I was turned on by her. Then I was like, no, it's the naked guys around her. It's the shirtless guys around her.
no.
Favorite Kylie album?
It has to be Aphrodite, actually.
Aphrodite. I love.
Yeah,
The
I love
Lovers.
Aphrodite. Oh, the Lovers. Oh my god, the MTV was so cool.
Oh yeah, when they were like climbing
All
this.
climbing each
The
other.
human mountain.
Yeah,
It's a human orgy.
Yeah.
Orgy
It was a
is
human orgy. dude.
Yeah.
Were they having
Yeah.
sex?
No.
No.
I mean, the idea was that humanity should just love each other regardless of anything. And so there was a lot of expression of love through touch and through.
Hashtag love is love. Hashtag love wins. Hashtag
Everybody say love. Love. We have a pair of very lovely guests sitting in front of Sam, Joe, and I right now. I've actually known one of them since I was a teenager. I'll tell that story in a bit. Okay.
yes, please.
Okay. They are a couple.
You're lovebirds and you have been together for what 12 years,
Yes.
which is quite.
I mean, we're not counting.
We're not counting.
We don't celebrate anniversaries.
I always say it's too long. That's my opening pitch to anybody.
We have Fabian and Scott with us right now.
Yay!
Welcome.
All right, so they've been together for 12 years. That's right, Singaporean gay couple. First, we're going to go back all the way to when I was like 15 years old. So that's how I got to know Scott, right? So Scott was actually my PE teacher. If you remember my coming out story, I've shared this anecdote through various interviews as well. There was one teacher who completely changed everything for me and opened my eyes to the gay. And to the goddesses of gay. And that was Scott right here. So I remember connecting with him on MSN for the Gen Z. MSN is like WhatsApp or Telegram, but like a desktop version.
You were what? How old? A teenager? I'm glad it was MSN and not something else.
No, yeah, it was. I promise you, this story is very, very innocent, right? So it was on MSN, and he was connecting with all the different students, and you know, all the students, they wanted to befriend their teachers, right? It was our way of growing up fast. And the thing with Scott was that he looked like us. He looked very young, and a lot of our teachers were like hella old. So it was like, hey, this was like a cool older brother that we wanted to befriend. I think we were talking, you and I, and then you shared that you were in a relationship with a guy, and you were very open about it, very comfortable about it. You didn't hold back, nothing. It was just, this is my life. I was so taken aback by it because I'd never met anyone tell me they're gay, tell me they're in love with a guy, the same sex as them. All that was so foreign to me. Because of that conversation, it led me to rethink the things that I immediately shoved into the closet as, okay, that was sinful. This is, I don't even want to explore that. That's too scary. I'm going to get scolding and all that kind of stuff. So you made it comfortable for me to be like, okay, I can be like my teacher who is happy and in love. And that is something that, you know, through the years, I still go back to and how important that was for me. So thank you.
It's like a core memory. You're a core memory for someone, Scott.
No, because I always felt that the best way to, I don't know, be a gay activist is just to live your life and just to be who you are unapologetically. And of course, you know, I sort of could feel by just, you know, looking at you and just talking to you through the classes and stuff. And I could feel that sometimes people just need to know that there are others who are just having a very normal life.
Yeah.
There's nothing special. There's nothing different. It's just my life. And that's what I wanted to share.
Yeah, and it unlocked something in me that was always there. You know, it wasn't like, if anyone's listening, oh my God, he changed this student. No,
it's nurture.
nothing at all. This was something I've been feeling for a while now. And then I was constantly told, I remember that gay people were men who would sleep with men because they cannot get with women. And it just didn't make, and that was what I was told. That was a narrative that I was told, right, as a kid. And
Fake news. Sorry, just had to chime in there. Hashtag.
yeah, and then I looked at Scott and he was smiling and he was happy and he said that he was in a relationship with a guy and he was in love, and I just had never heard of that concept before. And let's not forget, in Singapore, it's not like we have a lot of representation on TV or media for that to even be normal. So if you're growing up as a kid wanting all the things that make you normal, and then here's someone saying that, hey, I'm opening that horizon for you, that was life-changing for me, right? But I can't also help but think of whatever that you just said, living your life the way you are comfortably. I can imagine people doing that now. But let's not forget, that was like 15 years ago, pre-social media, activism, on the scale that we have today where we can all support each other. You did that on your own quietly. And that was a risk, wasn't it?
I think at that point in my life, I hadn't fully come out to everybody around me, but I guess I was quite comfortable with where I was, and I was dating my ex-partner. And what I do recall from those days were just this feeling of wanting, I always wanted to change Singapore, right? And wanted to change perspective and change mindset. And I think I discussed this with a lot of people, and I think what we netted out at was, you just got to let everybody know that this same person that they've always known is just gay. And that is it. There is no difference to this guy who enjoys a bit of Kylie, who enjoys eating, who likes a good party,
A bit, you say?
A bit.
A lot.
and then the only thing that changes about this person after you know him better is that he just likes somebody and this person is not a girl. I think it was crucial for me to just be that person. Not that I had I have lofty dreams, but I think, that's that very cliche analogy of a starfish at the time. But I can't help but think that there's a lot of merit to that. One person at a time. Maybe at some point it would be like 10, 20, 1,000.
Yeah.
You mean what, throwing the starfish back into the sea?
Right.
Okay.
And then over the years, you do realize that it helps. Now I'm sitting in front of somebody,
Look at me now doing a queer podcast.
Maybe hopefully more people who listen to this will.
Yeah, if all those years ago, Scott, you weren't Josh's PE teacher.
Eventually, I would have found my way, right?
Yeah.
But I think when Scott was my teacher at that age where I was still trying to understand myself and the world, and 15 is like puberty and everything, right? So I was already feeling all these feelings. I just didn't have any positive representations of that.
Yeah.
I immediately assimilated as vulgar or sinful. And then this was someone who was there in my life, like happy, and he's my PE teacher. So you're looking up to your teachers,
As a
right?
role model.
As a role
So
model.
important, yeah.
So that was I don't know. I cannot emphasize how important just confident, comfortable humans can mean to other people who are looking for that in their lives.
Yeah, especially when you're at that formative age,
Yes.
right? They actually you don't realize how much you absorb from the adults around you.
Yeah.
So it's not just your teachers; it's like people in your family, or even the canteen auntie, and how they talk to you and stuff like that.
And I think it's nice, right? You open yourself up to seeing a new possibility. Like, you can be all sorts of other kinds of normal, right? Go to school, do well in school, or pursue your passions, but also be gay.
Yeah.
And they're not contradictory, and that there are parallel or alternative paths that exist.
Yes.
And I think it's just about seeing someone not villainized, not sinned, put in the box of sin,
Yeah.
who is just like, maybe that's me and it's okay, right?
Yeah.
To also tread that path.
Yeah, and especially when at that point you might have been, maybe you're going through puberty or whatever, and you're feeling like so out of place, like, why am I not like the other boys or whatever. Especially, PE, let's think,
Exactly.
let's talk about that.
I'm actually curious, Scott, what were you
macho
actually teaching football? I will be surprised. 12 years.
No, it was
Never
just
seen him
school,
with any
right? You
sports.
you just bring them for sports. I don't even know what we did. We I don't know.
I remember. I just remember a whole bunch of things I could not do.
Was it primary school or secondary
Secondary
It was in
school.
secondary
Secondary
school.
All those
I was
NAFA and
I was a relief teacher for a semester, right? So I took a few courses. I took a mathematics and I took PE. And I just remember there was a curriculum to follow. And
I just
followed
remember
it.
he was always in white socks, white shorts, white polo shirt.
Yes. That was my
Sam
outfit.
Joe's going
Sounds like-
somewhere else.
Sounds like a certain kind of video that.
Not this podcast.
But you know who's in all white today, by the way? Fabian.
Hey, I like that synchronicity. But it did mean something, even the fact that he's a PE teacher. because I think also the people that were like me in secondary school who were starting to think I'm different from everyone else, we were also picked on and called sissy and for our femininity that we had and explored and enjoyed. You know, we were always kind of made fun of, like, we will never do the sports stuff. And then here comes a queer person who's the PE teacher telling us how to do the sports stuff. And I was like, oh, that's so badass. So I really like that as well.
You've dug out a lot of memories, actually. 'Cause I think everyone in high school gets called that. I don't know about all of you, but I had my fair share of all those like CC, Aqua kind of conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
And now that I'm thinking about all these things, I'm just like, wow, it was tough and it was rough, actually.
Yeah, it was not easy.
It was not
It was,
easy.
you know what? It was fucked up. Right?
It was
Like,
bullying.
It was.
Yeah,
It
I
was.
mean, we took it in our stride back then because that was what we learned to do. We just got by. But if you look back at it, yeah, you're right. It's bullying, and bullying is never okay. I remember actually being in a PE class. I mean, the reason why I exclaimed just now very loudly also, like, PE of all subjects. Not that I hated it. Like, I understood the need to be like healthy and stay fit and everything, but there was always the element of like, oh my god, what if this PE class is soccer? Then I really don't like soccer. Like, you tell me badminton, I can. Like, you tell me, you tell me like,
that's true.
you tell me like running around the track like 10 times, I don't mind. But you know, the moment it's like some sort of like. By the way, I was in the basketball team in primary school.
Wow.
So
Oh, wow.
It's not even about hand-eye coordination or like.
No, it's just a very gendered.
It's a
sport.
culture,
Some sports
culture,
are very
right?
Yes.
gendered, right?
Yeah.
And then if you're
Absolutely.
a guy who doesn't fit into a very masculine sport or the codes of that sport, then you get singled out, you get called out, and I mean, I think we all experienced the anxiety.
Yes,
You know?
anxiety was it. Anxiety was it. It was
Yeah.
like,
I was like, how do you walk in a more gangly way? How do you like puff up your chest a little bit more?
Yeah.
how do you pass?
Yeah,
Continue to
exactly.
pass.
How do you
Exactly.
pass? That's
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
quite
And then at some point
horrifying.
in your life, you just, you know what?
Fuck it.
Fuck it. I don't give a fuck what anyone else thinks. I'm just going to be myself. But not everyone is able to come to
Yeah.
that, you know,
Yeah.
on their own.
When was that point for the both of you? For Josh and I, we've been talking about this on and off with like so many people, but like Scott and Fabian, like for both of you, when was that turning point where you went, I'm not going to care about what other people think, I'm just going to be authentically true to myself?
I think for me, it was a journey from junior college all the way to first year of university. I think in junior college, I started to realize that I needed a support group that was beyond just the gay group that I was hanging out with. And I had split identity, actually. You guys know me as Scott. You probably knew me as Keezen.
Yeah.
Because Scott was gay Scott. And I only wanted a specific group of people to know the gay person.
Oh my god, what's your gay name?
Scott is my gay name.
Your scene name.
My scene name.
A lot of Singaporean guys do this. I
Yes,
realize.
because you're so afraid that, oh my god, if they know Keezen is gay, what will happen
Can
to
I
me,
also
right?
just say straight people do that as well? It's not just a gay thing.
But straight people have the gay name, right? For like,
they have their alternate identity.
Like a
for when
moniker.
that they don't want to link back to their life.
Wow.
But I think gay people had to do it.
yeah, we had
for
had
what?
to.
Like for dating? Okay.
Professional reasons.
Right.
But anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
to-
And so then it was a journey, right? So then in JC, I started to come out to one of my really good friends, and then I came out to my sister because I was going through a really bad breakup, and after that I realized that I needed to reach out to people that was beyond my gay social circle then, and that started to make me feel really comfortable when my sister told me, she was like, it's okay, Koko. You know? And then she told me that her teacher back then, and my sister is 4 years younger than me. She was like, my teacher told me about gay people and they're just normal people. And so she had
So there are
her teacher.
there's more than one teacher.
And her teacher
out
was
there
a
back
female
then.
teacher,
Yeah.
right? And so then she showed me a lot of support and love. And that made me feel that it was okay. And so throughout the years, I just slowly started to experiment with coming out. And to his brother, who is actually
my God.
my OCS buddy in the same room, which is Fabian's brother, small world, small story. And so I just gradually came out until in university, I was like, you know what? I think I'm fully out. And I came out to my family. And it was a journey. But then I would say by then, I don't try to pass anymore.
Yeah.
But it took all these little things, like accumulation of all that. It wasn't like an overnight thing. I mean,
No, I did cut my hair, but I think that was more of a dramatic gesture more than anything.
But that's like the power of coming out, right? Because
Yep.
if you didn't come out like that and go through this journey, you would have been very different when you came to my school as a teacher.
Yeah,
You know,
true.
and you meant something to me. And I'm sure, you know, we were talking about bullying, even though this idea of of like a teacher talking to a student affirming their sexuality in a school in Singapore sounds like, oh my gosh, taboo, red tape everywhere, freaking out. But I was still being made fun of. I was still being bullied for my, whether it be for my sexuality or my feminine energy that I was drawn to, whatever it may be. The gay slurs were there and they were used on me. And there was a point of time where maybe like 5-6 years ago, I did a small teaching job at a school which I won't name. There were students just openly using gay slurs.
At you or at other students?
Other students in front of me. And I froze. And I feel so horrible about that, right? But I froze because I was like, I want to stop it, but I don't know if I'm allowed to stop it. And I went to like the discipline master to ask, like, what do I do? That's not right. And they're like, just don't worry about it. You know, just tell them to focus and do their work. You know, and I was just like, I can't let that slide. So I was just freaking out because I just did not know what to do because I don't want to like tell the kids something that I believe in that maybe I could get fired for. So I'm sorry, I didn't have the strength that you had in the freaking early 2000s.
Yeah, in a way, you were very brave. Like,
very
a lot. I mean, we know a lot of teachers right now who, and it's no fault of theirs, but like they want to speak their minds, but they can't because like it's their livelihoods on the line.
Yeah,
they want to impart like certain values and everything, but they're worried that what if certain parents or like the school administration don't agree.
Yeah.
Right. And I think in a way it was a blessing in disguise because I'm guessing you were a relief teacher, so there wasn't really much at stake for you.
Yeah, but I suppose, I mean, yes, I think that was definitely a very big point.
So you were just like YOLO, right? Like,
YOLO lor.
Fabian, did you know this story?
Yeah, I know the story.
Like he told you everything about this?
I mean, I got the summary. I mean,
Over the years.
Over the years. I mean, I did ask how you guys met.
Right.
And that is the same story. I didn't. It was also MSN.
I promise.
When you say like that, oh man, MSN sounds so sketch of us.
He was just like, yeah, it's still the same story. I'm checking.
Yeah.
You know?
No.
Context.
Knowing that there's just, even if it's just one person in your corner, that gives you the confidence to say someone's got my back and I won't be alone. And I think for me, the point where I really felt like, you know, it doesn't matter what the rest of the world thinks, as long as the people who matter accept me for who I am. And that was really my best friend. At that point in time, I was still in army. And I called her from camp and I was like, Yi-Jun, hi, she's in Paris now. She's been living there for many years.
Shout out.
Shout out. Yeah, but
Yi-Jun in Paris. We want that Netflix special.
Yeah. And I texted her, I can book out on Wednesday night, and we were going to meet at the McDonald's at Isetan Orchard when it still existed. We meet there and then I text her the week before, and the whole week she's like, is everything okay? Do you need me to do anything? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, just wait till we meet. And then we meet, we have dinner the whole night. And then at the end, she was like, can you just tell me what you wanted to tell me? And I was just like, is everything okay? Then I'm like, then I stumble and fall because there's so much fear and anxiety, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can relate to that, but
and
like
shame,
yeah,
right?
And because I've always dated women, so this
Yeah.
was like a complete kind of 180.
Right.
And I said I am kind of like a guy, and she was like, oh my god, I thought, you know, like someone was going to jail, someone was dying. So you're like a guy, are you happy? Yes. Then okay. Like, then why are you like... At that moment, it was just like, I'm not going to care what anyone else says. And then I realized over the years, each person I came out to was just like, but you're so flamboyant, you're so loud, like there's no way. I mean, it's not like, I wouldn't say I knew, but I'm not surprised. And you know what? You've always been you. So I think one of like the things I'm very grateful for and very thankful for is that I've always had a very close group of people who have accepted me without any kind of labels.
Yeah.
Right? You are you. You've always been you.
Yeah.
And we accept you for who you are. And really, I think by the time I went to uni, it was just like super flamboyant. I'm just who I am.
Yes.
And, you know, all my university professors know, and I have blue hair and all that kind of stuff. And they're just like, yeah, he's him. And he's also a great student.
Back then it was blonde hair.
Back then it was blonde hair, yeah. It was the K-pop era.
Platinum blonde hair.
Platinum blonde.
That was how I knew him. Platinum.
That's when we met,
fully
yeah.
white hair.
So we have two handsome, assured men with their sexuality. They're confident, comfortable to take on the entire, well, just Singapore first. Okay. And they found each other, right? How?
It was on Twitter.
It's a funny story.
It's
like
a really funny story.
before the apps were those were our apps back then. So a mutual friend tweeted us something about politics in Singapore, a subject we both are quite engaged with.
Yeah.
And she was like, I think you guys would like, she just tweeted both of us and we chatted in 140 characters back then. And it was obviously very limiting. And I was like, I'm 4 years younger than Scott. And I looked at his profile picture. I was like, that is a pretty fine looking guy.
Hey.
And that conversation, whatever that was about, kind of ended. And I hunted him down on Facebook, which
is very difficult because my Facebook profile is private.
So I had to do a bit of CSI.
Right.
Hunted him down and I messaged him on Facebook and in more than 140 characters. I guess that won him over, at least to continue like wanting to speak to me.
No, it was a very cute message. It was like a.
He remembers it.
Of course I remember. I
He
saved
kept
it as
the
a photo.
receipt. He kept the receipt.
Reenactment, please.
No, I couldn't receive because Fabian kept telling a story of how I messaged him. I'm like, no, I don't do things like that.
Did I ever go
Yes,
there?
of course. That's why I screen grabbed it.
Wow.
No, but it was a very sweet message because he was like, hey, I really want to know you better, blah, 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 blah. I think you're cute, da, da, da. So it was like a nice long message. And I think back in those days where Twitter was starting to take off, people are not so engaged, right?
Yeah.
And they're not so sincere. So I looked through his profile and I was like, drinking beer, sun hat, smokes, white hair, tattoos. And I came from a very traditional Chinese family, right? No tattoo, no drinking, no smoking, no coloring my hair. I colored my hair brown. My mom freaked out, So I was like, ooh, this looks like a bad boy, And you know what do we like about bad boys? We just all like bad boys, right?
Right.
So I was like, yeah, sure.
But I mean, I'm curious actually. The bad boy image and the thoughtful note, like that.
Yeah, the bad boy won me over.
Oh, okay. So
I came from a good boys' school, right? And I was like, there's nobody in my circle that's of that kind of profile. And I was like, this is an
we do come
interesting
from very different
personality.
worlds, yeah.
Right.
So then I was like, let's meet up. We chatted first. We had long conversations actually.
I think it was a conscious choice when we first started chatting on Facebook to say let's not meet up because you can get distracted quite easily and quite fast. So we really wanted to get to know each other as people. And so that was like the daily messaging. It became like daily calls and like it went on for like 4 to 5 months.
That's a long ass
And
time.
we were like, we are
Stop.
not gonna meet too often because you've been through the clubs
Right.
when they were open as a young gay man, things can escalate quite easily.
Yep.
And we really just didn't want to go down that route.
And I was nursing a heartache as well. And he was there for me while I was nursing my heartache. Fabian was very sly. He slipped in at the right opportunity.
No, I think long term. Yeah.
So I was going through a heartbreak and then Fabian was just there, just being a friend actually. So I called him a lot. Didn't realize his ulterior motive till 12 years later.
Wow. So that's how we met.
That's how we met.
12 years later.
12 years later.
Wow.
We're still here.
Still chicken rice.
Yeah.
Still chicken rice. Oh, chicken rice. Chicken rice, a reference to like an earlier conversation we had about if you enter a long-term relationship, it's like having the same dish for the rest of your life, right? And so how's the chicken rice lately?
Chicken rice has been really good. There's been a lot of spicy chili. We switched from like breast to like thigh meat sometimes.
The things you can do with a simple dish like
Yeah.
chicken rice.
Right.
Sometimes you eat with ginger, sometimes you add cucumber.
Unless you put dark sauce.
You can fry it, you can steam it, you can. Okay, guys.
I love that. 12 years really is, it's a dream for many people that want that monogamous relationship with another person in Singapore. We've had Cam and Andre on, and I think that's a fantastic example as well. And
Beautiful married couple.
married
Hi guys.
with a child.
With a child.
We talked about how impossible that feels, right? For someone who is a lover at the core, right? And it's just so beautiful to hear that you're in a 12-year relationship. How do you keep it, that chicken rice, spicy and exciting and fresh? I mean,
Communicate. Like, we really communicate a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we will say everything we're thinking to really understand each other. And I don't know if everyone does that. I think it's kind of crucial in our relationship. And I think the second thing is that we said very early on that we should always be two individuals in a relationship because we said from the get-go, we are different people. We have strong opinions. We have our own very idiosyncratic kind of personalities and preferences, and that should never change even though we're in a relationship. So I think us being two very distinct, independent individuals has allowed us to kind of be together ourselves, yet kind of as a unit as well. And that's kind of one of the things. I think one of the things when we look at our friends whose relationships may not have lasted is that they've tried to change the other person, or they tried to want to do everything together. And our friends say all the time, like, where's Scott? And I'm just like, well, I mean, he has his own life, I have my own life.
Every time we go to the gym, right? And then the trainers will be like, hey, where's Fabian? Or where's Scott? We're like, I don't know.
I mean, we're a couple, we're not Siamese twins.
Yeah.
So,
like even our friends, like that day, our friend was asking, you know, I texted you something, and then he was like, how come Fabian doesn't know? And I'll be like, you text me, you didn't text Fabian. Why should I tell him what you're telling me? I mean, we are two different people. We just happen to be in a relationship.
So I think we're both very independent, but we communicate a lot. So I think there's a lot of understanding. There's a lot of, we still make a lot of like meet halfway kind of decisions about our life. But always when we arrive at that decision or that outcome, it's always, we're both on board.
Yes.
You know? And if we're not happy, it's like, actually, I'm not comfortable. Right. And we'd say it. Like
we do.
When we decided to move to Shanghai a couple of years back, Scott wanted to go, I didn't want to go. And we had to like really talk about it. I'm like, before we arrived. And then when you arrive at that decision, you individually own those decisions in your relationship. And so you can never blame the other person for making you do something or getting you in a situation that you didn't want to or you didn't agree to do. And there's no way you can go back and say, you made me do it and it's all your fault. Like we've never done that. Or like if we have, then we very quickly said, hey, bad behavior. We need to set more ground rules.
I mean, I think back on like, I mean, of course, every couple has fights, right? And we have our fair share of fights. Our principle has always been to just think about why the fight happened and what was going on, right? It's always easy to blame somebody else. But I think what we've noticed, at least what I see from him and from myself, is that we always end up thinking about what did I do? And then we communicate about it and what could have been done differently. And I think we really make it a point whenever we have a fight, we're like, let's talk about it. It might not be immediately. It might take days, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes, you know, your emotions all over the place and you don't want to add bad emotions on top of bad emotions. So we always wait, and there will be a few awkward days because he's a quiet person. I'm really talkative.
I'm not a quiet person, but besides Scott, it becomes a spectrum.
Okay.
Yeah. And I become the quieter one. Yeah.
No, so in
the theory of relativity.
It is.
Yeah.
So when we get into fights, he will be quieter.
Cold War.
And I'll try to like...
But one of the things like Scott does is like, he always says when we argue and we're working through a disagreement, we have to hold hands. Because it's hard to be angry with someone when you're physically touching and connecting with that person. And that always makes you, whether or not you consciously or subconsciously do it, kind of put yourself in the other person's shoes or not want to hurt that person who's connected to you physically at that point in time. And so when we do have disagreements, that's one of the things we do. And it always works, at least for us.
Right.
Yeah.
It also like lowers the chance of you hurling things at each other.
Yeah.
Which we know happens in some cases.
Holding the hands, nothing can be thrown.
Well, dear listener, I hope you're feeling what I'm sure Sam Joe is feeling as well, and that I'm very inspired by what you're saying, and I feel so much love for both of you individually and together. I can see why this works, and I can also see why each of you work as people I want to get to know more of. So I'm in a new relationship, so I'm learning a lot from this, and actually a lot of the things that I am applying are exactly what you've just mentioned. So it just feels so surreal. I was getting goosebumps, right? So one of the things I've been learning and practicing is learning when to communicate as well. Yes, communication is important, right? But like constantly talking is not communicating, and knowing when to have that conversation is important as well. If my partner is busy right now and I know his focus on his work, we need to communicate right now. You know, like okay.
Time and place.
Yeah, there is a time we will have this conversation and I will pick it up and put it down. And the second thing is what you said about the visual that you've given all of us right now, which is holding that person's hand while you're having that disagreement is... I'm learning to, while we're fighting about this issue, we have to remember to fight for each other as well in this relationship. It's very important to do that, right? Because you don't want to lose this person, right? There's a disagreement. We disagree often. It's healthy to disagree. How we handle that disagreement says a lot about us as people and together as a unit as well. And there has to be an element of us working together to fight for the relationship.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's also important, like, not to think of separating as your solution.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of say, like, how do you make this work, and find ways to fight for the relationship.
Whenever my boyfriend and I would get into an argument or whatever, I'll be like, oh my gosh, this is the moment, here it comes. It doesn't actually happen. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm so used to people walking away from my life. I'm so used to breakup. I'm so used to feeling insecure and all these different things. So here comes someone who's willing to say, I'm here, let's talk about it. And I found myself freaking out.
We know that we love each other at the core. Even, you know, when you're disagreeing, you're like, okay, he's being very irritating right now, but, you know, I chose the man, so I can't say I'm surprised that there are certain quirks about him that, you know, piss me off and sometimes lead to disagreements. And same for him, right? There are things that about my character that I'm sure pisses the shit out of him. But I mean, it's saying, like, having a larger perspective and also taking a step back and saying, like, why did we get into this relationship? And always remembering that it is that particular issue that you're working on and not the person.
Yes.
So don't immediately, like, we don't immediately blame the person. We're like, in that moment, in that context, when you were flustered or when, you know, blah, 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 you were really nasty, and we need to talk about that. But it's not like you are a nasty person.
Yeah.
It was like your behavior at that moment was nasty, and we need to talk about that so it doesn't happen again. So I think, like, taking a step back, having that perspective, and then reminding yourself, like, I love this person. Remembering that when that person does something, it's think about the intention rather than what was being done. Was the intention bad? It may have been delivered in a very unpleasant way, but the intention wasn't malicious or meant to hurt. I mean, thankfully we've not been in a situation where the other person was, like, trying to deliberately hurt. The other point to say is that if you're in a toxic relationship, you also need to know when to kind of leave and to protect yourself. But we've not been in that situation with each other.
For me, it was just constantly, like, talking to myself as I was feeling all these things in my head. How much of it is actually the problem? How much of it is just me catastrophizing, if that's the word, like, and being so sort of assuming that this is always going to be the pattern for my life. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to break the pattern. You know, I'm not going to be dramatic. I'm not going to walk away. I'm actually going to just, like, look at the issue at hand right now and just stay as well. And maybe we'll talk about it later. So I'm in a very exciting time of my life, right? Who would have thought at 31?
Young love. New love.
Really?
You're not that young.
That's the thing. I know. I thought I would be going through these thoughts in my head and, like, learning to figure out relationships at, like, 18 or 19. But then it feels like all those years before that was being comfortable. We just talked about being comfortable with my sexuality, owning my sexuality, and learning how to treat myself and other people better, learning how to date, trying to understand love and all that. All that was, like, practice to, like, now.
I mean, what do we really know at 18 or 19? We knew everything, but we actually knew shit. And I'm sorry to our 18, 19-year-old listeners, but we love you. And looking back actually at a lot of, like, my so-called failed relationships, unlike Fabian and Scott, like, you know, we didn't, we took a lot of things very personally, and we didn't see it as, like, we got into a quarrel or argument. It was always, you're a terrible person, and honestly, sometimes I also didn't have the maturity and strength to work through things. I was just like, oh, one strike and you're gone, you know. And which is like, I also think that's kind of like a privilege that comes with youth. It's a bit of self-centeredness that's tied up with it also, right? Like, you don't really think of anyone else other than yourself. It's your needs first before anyone else, even though you don't consciously know that. But you're like, why is he making me feel this way? He's a horrible person. So fuck that.
I don't know. Sometimes it's also not that person's horrible. It's just that person's not who you want to date, you know?
Yeah.
And then I think we all have those expectations of who my partner should be, what he should be like, etc. You know, you set that relationship up for failure right from the get-go.
Yes.
And I think if you're dating when you're, like, in your early 20s, in your teens, that person's gonna change. Yourself as well. Both of you are gonna grow. You're gonna have more experiences and perspectives. I sound like a very old person right now. But no, I think it's important. I think it worked for us as well, is that as we kind of went through milestones, like through school, through university, through early career, mid-career, blah, 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 we both changed. And I think it was always saying, hey, this person has changed. The value system has remained the same, but the whole packaging has changed, and that's fine. We grow together, and we're not holding each other to that impossible, unrealistic standard of who that person was when we first met 12 years ago. Because if we had done that, we wouldn't be together right now, because we are completely different. My face looks different because I wear a lot more makeup now. But I mean,
you look gorgeous,
beyond that,
by the way, as always.
thank you, I know.
Yeah.
But I think beyond that, right, it's about not subscribing to the idea of a person who's not the person in reality, and being open to and connecting with the actual person, learning to embrace that person, and even as that person changes. Scott read this article and sent it to me a couple of months back about romantic friendships.
Oh, yes.
And I think I love that concept. I can't remember where it's from, but if you Google it, you'll probably find
the
it.
Atlantic or the Guardian.
Yeah, but there's this idea of like not putting all the needs that you have into a single person.
Yes.
That there are friendships that can be romantic. Like, why must the person you live with also be the person you go on holidays with, who also likes Drag Race, and also all the Netflix shows that you like, who needs to read the same books? Like, no, there are different people in your life
Who
to
fulfill
fit
their
different,
needs.
who
Yes.
fulfill different needs and play different roles in your life. And I think a lot of people have unrealistic expectations of one person to fulfill all the needs and then to be like a mirror image of themselves. And then again, the article was great because it says, you know, you are setting yourself
For
and
failure.
that relationship up for failure because it's impossible.
Yeah.
You'll only be constantly disappointed, or you'll constantly be pressured to live up to a certain expectation that your partner has.
And you're also not loving. You're actually not loving.
You're imposing.
And you're tapping into ego. You're tapping into the things that you like and that you value and you put on a pedestal. So you expect someone else to have those things. So if you find someone who's just like you, who acts, talks, lives, behaves just like you, then you take that as affirming all the things that you already are instead of actually loving another human being.
Exactly.
Which goes back also to what the two of you said about just being your own complete self. Traditionally, there's always that like oft-told narrative of two halves coming together
Oh my
to
God, the
complete
missing
each other.
piece.
The missing
Yes.
piece, yeah. Like, you know, the more I grow up and the more I think about it, it's like the more I realize that that's bullshit. Because I mean, look, it works for some people, perhaps, right? Like we all know couples who, God bless their hearts, and they love each other so much and they rely on each other in a way that is very sweet. But I love that the two of you are like, you're strong on your own, but when you come together, you're also fire, right?
Yeah, why put together two halves when you can have two holes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, it is that book, you know, that really ridiculous book called The Missing Piece. It's actually a children's illustration book. And it was like this circle with really a missing piece that was going around trying to find something that fit. One of my really old friends actually gave it to me when I was really sad. Sorry, I'm always sad. and I was in San Francisco actually. And so he passed me this book because her relationship was not doing well. And the story of the book was that
This was 12 years before.
Before the previous boyfriend, the other one.
Sure, just
and
want
like,
to make
so
sure.
this little circle was trying to find the missing piece, and there was never a piece that fit him until he grew into a complete circle. Until he grew into a complete circle. And the whole point of it is that there is no missing piece that fits you because you are complete yourself.
Hey, I know this story.
You know this
it's
story,
called
right?
The Big O.
Yes!
Yes,
Yes!
that is the book. They want a high five, but they're too far away.
Can we just...
We're in between them.
Can we do it again?
Oh my God.
We did it again. I'm sorry. Okay. Wait,
Yes.
I can't believe I actually know that book.
It's
I'm
a
sorry.
great book because I read it and eventually I realized, I mean, maybe it wasn't the book that changed everything, but it's such a good story, right? You got to be your own complete person. You're not finding somebody to fill a void. If there's a void, it's on you to fill it. It's not on somebody else to
Right.
fill your void.
Don't want to be cliche, but RuPaul comes to mind.
It does.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
If
like
you can't
Fabian
love
and I,
yourself.
How in the hell are you gonna love somebody else?
Amen.
Can I get an
Amen up in here.
Sorry, just took it there. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, Fabian and I have the same energy. We're just like looking at
We
each other.
do,
like,
yeah.
It's like we look like we would be very electrifying on the surface, but actually we're like really like chill.
Yeah, that's true.
One's got blue hair, another's got blue headphones.
Almost the same thing.
Yeah. And then meanwhile, you have Scott / Keezen and you have Sam Joe. They look very harmless, but then actually, boom, live wire.
Firecracker.
Mass destruction. No, but
Chaotic energy. Sometimes. Yeah.
most of the time. Can I just talk about this? How meaningful this particular children's book was to me also, because it's actually quite mind-boggling that you of all people, actually I'm not surprised because you were a teacher once upon a time, but My Sec 1 and Sec 2 English Lit teacher, Miss Hope Kelly, if she's listening to this, she was this wonderful lady from America, Ohio, I remember. She had such a profound influence on me, and that was one of the books she introduced to us. And I mean, we're already in secondary school by then, right? What were we doing reading a children's book? Looking back, like I can see why she wanted us to read that book, because she was imparting values to us. She wasn't imparting like, I mean, we went on to do like very cheap books and The Outsiders and like, and
Animal Farm.
and
Animal
Roll of
Farm.
Thunder, Hear My Cry and everything like that. I Heard the Owl Call My Name. We did complex lit, but this children's book, like sometimes I think children's books, that's why they're so important, because they really like it's down to foundation, down to like formative, like it's down to back to your relationship with Scott, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are adults teaching you? And it was really this illustrated story of this little oblong creature who didn't know where he fit in, and he kept rolling and rolling, and because of friction over time, if you're rough around the edges, eventually all his edges got evened out and he was his own complete big O. That was and I remember like Miss Kelly, our teacher, like used to give us like big O awards in class.
Oh, that's really nice. Yeah.
And that was to encourage us to like aspire towards becoming our own complete selves. So I mean, as we sit here recording this podcast, like I see a jigsaw puzzle being hung up in that room.
Oh,
I think it deserves like being repeated. Each and every single one of us is not some incomplete jigsaw puzzle that we're looking for that missing piece
in someone else.
You're the full picture yourself, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just
And-
got to realize that.
Yeah, you just need to find your gallery. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, why go for one picture when you are already the picture?
Your whole
when
museum
you
is
can have a whole
yours.
museum.
Hey, and on the children's books and how influential and important they are in shaping our perception of the world, since we just talked about RuPaul. So if you watch like UK versus the world,
Oh, you scared me. I thought RuPaul wrote a children's book.
I'm down for that. Yeah.
I mean, she just developed some like online game, right? I wouldn't put
I
it
would
past
not
her.
be surprised.
Yeah.
And in the final episode of UK versus the world, I'm not going to spoil anything. Don't worry. There was just a piece of encouragement that was shared, which is the only relationship you need to focus on is between you and your inner child. And I think when we read these children's books, our inner child is reading, and it speaks directly to it. And that's why even as grown adults, we love these Pixar, Disney shows because it speaks directly to us as children, and we remember what it's like being a kid. And so much of, we on the show, we talk about, advice to, talking to your 11-year-old self. They do it on RuPaul's Drag Race as well. And it always becomes a very tender moment,
Oh my
right?
God. Yeah,
in
bring
therapy,
on the waterworks.
Yeah, in therapy is always about that, talking to who you were when you were 8 years old and repairing that relationship. Power in children's books.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my God. I guess I'll question to both of you as lovebirds sitting in front of us who have made this relationship not only work but blossom over the past 12 years. What do you have to say to all the lovers out there who are either looking for love or who are looking to keep that love alive or burn even brighter? What do you have to say to them?
Always think about, is it worth it? Is it worth the fight, right? I think a lot of times we fight over the tiniest thing, like where is the toilet paper, or why are your clothes on the floor, and it's such
Do we
tiny...
fight over those things?
We did. There was one time I asked you, why is your pants on the floor? Do you mean throw it away or is it meant for a laundry
Oh, yeah,
basket?
that was aggressive.
That was
but
really
yeah.
aggressive, right? And then I asked myself, is that worth fighting for? Or we used to fight about like you didn't make the bed in the morning, right? And then you got to realize that, is this even worth it? Is a relationship about making the bed, And then you distill to the fact that no, it's not, right? If you need the bed to be made, make it yourself. If it doesn't have to be made, then don't make it, or assign the task, right? Like, hey Fabian, making the bed is very important for me. If I can't make it in the morning, could you help me make the bed? Just think about what is important, right? Because so many times, you fight over anything and everything, and it's about just developing the awareness about what is worth fighting for. Which brings me to my next point. I think I've changed a lot over the years because I am extremely aggressive and I like to fight to win. And I like to win battles. Right? I am a debater. I am you guys know me on my social media. I am very, very forceful, right? But then fighting to win means that I'm fighting for my own ego to win. And then you start to realize that, is that really worth winning the battle but losing the war, right? Because then if I realize that what I want to do is to make sure that the relationship is better, why am I fighting to win? And then it becomes quite pointless.
Right.
So then I start to, change quite a bit, because then you realize that it's not about winning the argument. I mean, I can win any argument by, just throwing random shit out, right? But then is that even worth it? And I think the most of the conclusion I have is, nah, it's not really worth it. Why fight, right? Just say it nicely. Take a deep breath, have a whiskey, talk 1-2 days later. Actually, I was a little bit upset that day with this. And then you realize that this thing is so small. It was like you didn't put the plate in the right place. That kind of stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And then you just get over yourself. And I think that's for me my tip to all the lovers.
There was like a survey in Singapore. One of the most popular things to fight about among Singaporean couples is where to eat dinner.
Really?
I kid you not. We talked about it on radio. The couple cannot decide where to eat. One will say anything. The other will be like, oh yeah, I'm also okay with anything. And then for 2 hours, they're walking around the shopping mall hungry, becoming hangry because no one can decide where to eat.
I one tip. Always eat cai peng. Just
go
eat
wrong,
cai
right?
peng. Cannot go wrong. 2 meat, 2 veg, $5.
Yeah. Yeah, but essentially, actually, it's a good thing that you're facing, right? Because both of you are saying we're okay with anything, but someone has to lead. Someone has to be like, okay, I'll let you lead. So I think it's good to like take turns. You guys do that, like, okay, today for dinner you decide where to go.
I know. I think when it doesn't matter, you just decide. I don't think we necessarily care too much about whether the other person feels okay with that. We're like, hey, I feel like eating this. And the person's like, do you have an opinion? No. Okay, let's eat this. And it's like a
Nice.
1-2 minute decision. So I mean, like, because it doesn't matter, like Scott says, there are things that matter and there are things that don't.
And if it matters, you should say it. Don't make the
Yeah.
person play that kind of like crystal ball game.
Oh god, that really frustrates
Yeah,
me.
because sometimes I already know what I want to eat, and he knows I know what I want to eat. Then I'll be like, do you think we should eat
So
this?
Scott
or
does
we
this
should eat
thing in
that?
the early years of our relationship. A little nugget for you.
Yes.
Early
We
years
love
of,
our nuggets. Come on, bring it on.
oh yeah, we do love fun. I love it more than Scott. But the nugget earlier in our relationship, when Scott we were both in office and lunchtime, he would call me and it's like, hey baby, what should I eat for lunch today? Should I eat like fish soup or should I go and eat cai peng? And I'm just like, such a difficult decision. I really think you should eat pad thai. He was like, but that's not my option. I was like, who the hell cares what you're eating, right? Just eat something. It's just lunch. Then I was like, you're not being helpful. And I was like, don't call me about this again. Just go and decide what you want to eat. Like but we do it cheekily, like we say, like you do it in a teasing, loving way.
Yeah.
But I'm just like being deliberately annoying because it doesn't matter. Why do you have to go hangry over like something so trivial and like so everyday?
Yeah, because I didn't go there. He doesn't care about me. He doesn't love me. No, I just like, okay, it was going to be fish soup. So
Yeah.
You just needed like affirmation from him in a way.
Yes.
Yes.
Most of the time we actually are just looking for
affirmation, right?
Yeah, but I won't hang up. Like I will answer that call and I will entertain him, but I will not be helpful because it's a very inane question. Yeah. And I used to like, after that call ends, I'll like turn to my colleague and be like, oh my god, this guy. Such an old baby.
He just wanted to hear your voice.
Yeah.
Right? He just wanted to like talk to you.
Guess that's
Get any
one
excuse
way
to call
to
you.
look at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But just coming back to your question of like, parting words to all the lovers out there, I think make sure that you don't lose yourself in a relationship. Always know who you are. Don't try to be an idea of someone or the idea that your partner, the person you're dating, wants you to be. Just be yourself and that person will love you for who you are. And if he doesn't, then that's not the right person.
Yeah.
But I think at the same time is also not being so insistent on your preferences and your, what you expect. Like also make space for someone else. So it's not like that one circle needs to feed 2 people. Like just expand that circle. Your circle still exists, but you've widened the kind of boundary to say now we can have 2 circles in a wider circle. So I think that's kind of critical. Don't lose yourself. Don't feel like you're compromising or losing who you are just to be in a relationship, because when that happens, you're going to start resenting things and like a cheese with too many holes. It's just going to fester and then crumble. And so, yeah, I think remember that. Yeah.
I'm Joshua Simon,
I'm Sam Joe.
and we are
The SG Boys, that little gay podcast from Singapore.
Subscribe and find us on Instagram at the SG Boys. The beliefs, views, and opinions expressed on this podcast are attributable to its hosts only and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, organization, company, or individual.